Hi, this is Dhirendra. Welcome to the channel called Psychology of Minds. Over here we will discuss about how psychology from medieval times moved till those times wherein there was a reawakening of ancient history, reawakening of ideals of natural sciences, observation from the greats like Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, to a period wherein it was watered, those ideas were watered by likes of Galen and Calcus and many others. But after that we see an era, those times of say 500 to 600 years, where there was a decline in all kind of things, be it intelligence, be it culture, be it population, overall wisdom, human wisdom, overall cultural wisdom, overall intelligence sees a decline, and that decline is maybe due to many other factors. They are very difficult to be defined why there was a period where nothing much happened. As a human race, we saw a period where there was total blank. There was not much medical records, or there was not recording of events happening, and that period is called Dark Ages. But that was there till 13th century. As the people, as the generations were lifting themselves from those period wherein nothing much was happening, during the 15th century, that is around 1450, we saw arrival of witchcraft, arrival of witch mania. And prior to that, there were innumerable situations and instances where women with mental illness were treated, castigated as witches. Anyways, leaving behind the topic, now let's focus on who were the pioneers during this Enlightenment period, which helped psychology to move ahead as a subject. So the first person who needs a special mention after or during the Enlightenment period was Marsilio Ficino. He was an Italian, he was an astronomer, and he was also a Catholic priest. The man was responsible for translating works of Greek philosophers to Italian. So in the 17th century, we find two great psychologists or philosophers who started a revolution called a revolution for modern psychology. René Descartes, if you have heard a famous quote that I think, therefore I exist. Before that there is another one, I doubt, then I think, and I think, therefore I exist. That was one quote which was famous for and which is still being used by many people. So he was the one who had proposed the idea of mind-body dualism. As per him, the mind and the body are two separate domains of existence, wherein the body sends signals to organ gland. From there, consciousness gets formed in a separate intangible thing called mind. The other philosopher, the prominent one during the 17th century, was John Locke. He was the one who has proposed the idea about human mind has starting things from zero whenever it is born. So the consciousness is not there prior to the birth of the human mind. Our experiences of the past, sum total of it defines what we are or what we are thinking at any point of time. 18th century, we find 4 or 5 major influencers of philosophy or psychology which has gone on to define the current world psychology. One of the first person was Leibniz, although his proposition about intensity of behavior is dependent on your stimuli, and that relationship is logarithmic in nature. So he basically proposed his idea about unconsciousness. Christian Wolff was the one who had written 2 books and established that psychology is basically a science. He had written 2 books in 1732 and 1734. One was Psychologia Empirica, the other was Rationalis or Psychologia Rationalis in 1732. One of the other great philosophers and anthropologists, Immanuel Kant, wanted psychology to be a part of anthropology, but he didn't think psychology should be learned or studied with the purview of experimental psychology. Later on, one of the major influencer in psychology who went on to set up the first psychological lab in Leipzig, Germany, he was William Wundt. The man was is the pioneer of modern psychology for many reasons. His students have gone on to do major breakthroughs, major ideations in the field of psychology. He's one of these students called Techner. He went on to form an idea or theory called structuralism, wherein the study was or focus was on understanding mind from its different parts and what parts are responsible for the human behavior. So basically, as per his ideation, as per his idea, human mind can be introspected in order to reach out to different results, and that those results are experimental in nature. That means they are scientific in nature. One of the other opposite theories which were going on or was proposed by William James with two other fellows named Dewey and the other being some Harvey Karl. So these three people proposed a different concept, the concept of functionalism in psychology. So as per functionalism analysis or approach to understand psychology, human behavior is basically adaptable. It adapts